not as bad as we thought. Not as bad as we thought. Dobbs, I was thinking 50-60 ball after the way the game started.
Oh, I was thinking we were looking at like one of those, like 45-10. Yeah, like 45-3. I don't know if I ever thought it was going to get as bad as 50. That's just because Lord have mercy. At that point, the Lions would just put in their backups, save them for the
Yeah.
playoffs. But yeah, I mean, look, all things considered, Hunter, it was what we asked of the Bears. We said, let's have a competent Caleb Williams game.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, let's just start off with that. Caleb Williams, like as the last social media post that we put on Instagram, TikTok, he's not broken. Caleb Williams is not broken. It remains as relevant as ever.
It's so weird, Dobbs, because like I feel like sometimes, right? I feel like sometimes he just looks a little lost, and sometimes he just looks totally zoned in. And I really don't know what that is. I think
it's just being a rookie,
Well,
like
yeah,
we don't give him the people don't give him enough,
But I think this week compared to last week, we saw the line actually held up pretty decently this week until the fourth quarter, until the end. And towards the end, and obviously I haven't seen the all 22, but it felt like they were just calling a ton of down the field plays. Like, you're out of the game. Like, move downfield methodically like you did a couple times this game. Now, with that being said, 334 yards, 2 touchdowns. Caleb Williams is well over 3,000 yards. He has 19 touchdowns. Like, he is having a good rookie season. The general
awesome rookie season, all things considered.
And mind you, DeAndre Swift had 9 carries for 20 yards. Like, he's doing this with no run game. And you can make the argument that, the Lions didn't really have a great amount of players on defense. Like, there's a lot of injuries, but you play who's in front of you. And these are the type of games he's supposed to have when you're playing teams like this. This is what you're supposed to do. And he did it. And he's had some of his best performances against the Lions. And maybe that's a little convincing for Ben Johnson, who should be the Chicago Bears head coach next year.
Well, again, if you were sending this morning, real quick what was the source on that though? Because
that was Ian Rappaport. I believe.
All right, so Ian Rappaport saying that he's interested in the Bears job. Again, this is the Bears' race to lose, right? As I've said, you spend the most time with him. I know I'm beating a dead horse at this point, but I'll keep doing it because it's the Bears' biggest hope. You first in the building with him, get him in, start reach out tonight. Like, there's no more waiting period. Reach out tonight. We know Thomas Brown is not going to be the coach. We've already known this. Get him in the building ASAP. Spend the most time with him. There's a very good chance he will be the Bears' next head coach, especially now that you have Rapp in on it. But aside from that, Hunter, just real quick, touch on some other things before we get really into the head coach and into Caleb, which really is going to be the majority of what we have to talk about at this point. Because I mean, it's the reality of the Bears at this point. What I want to say is though, look. There are other good things we could look at today too, right? We could say, you know what? As far as all things are concerned, at least Keenan Allen has really kind of been putting it together the second half of the season. Aside from even just that, there was some really bright spots on the D-line today. I know, again, overall, it's not like it's still not a good game from the D-line. But you know what? Zach Pickens had some moments today, and that's something we really can't say for
the first time you've ever said that.
That's what I was going to say. You know what? Like, there are other positives aside from just the fact that Caleb had a good game in front of hopefully his future coach.
Yeah.
And that Caleb is continuing to prove I hate to say this, it's just so corny, but prove the haters wrong. I'm so tired of the Caleb haters though. That's what's funny, Hunter. It's the dichotomy. Like, Justin would just shit the bed week after week, and he still had his entire fan base.
Whoa,
bro. And then Caleb has like good games more than half of the year, and it's just cricket. It honestly is quite ridiculous. I'd love to see someone pop in the chat right now and say Caleb is still trash. It would be,
they don't pop. They don't come out against these type of games.
Where are they at, Hunter?
Games. I believe, I could be wrong. I believe Caleb Williams definitely has the most 300-yard games out of the rookies. And you got to think, like, 300-yard games, like, they're not easy. Like, a lot of quarterbacks just don't have 300-yard games. I mean, I think he has, what is this? The 1, 2, 3, 4. This is fourth out of, 15 games? So it's pretty impressive. Like, it's almost a third of the season he's thrown for 300-yard games. A little under a third, obviously. The math's not direct, but I guess like the biggest thing, like okay. I don't really care that we lost. This season's lost anyway, and I'd rather have the best draft
Net
capital
positive.
possible.
Oh,
But
it's
like,
net
I
positive.
come out of this game pretty happy. Like, the defense looks horrendous. Like, it's bad, but it's almost to the point where I'm watching it and I'm like, all right, just let him score. Like, I want to see Caleb out there. Like, these are the type of games like Bears fans need to be excited for, because if you get a competent, like I tweeted during the game, look what happens when Caleb Williams has time. He's able to he's able to get his feet right, and he's able to accurately throw a ball to his guy. He throws with anticipation. We talked about it, you talked about it a lot, Dobbs, but something that people talk about is with the accuracy. We saw Waldron did not have a plan for development in terms of like how many steps he's taking in his drop. Footwork is huge, has a lot to do with when it comes to accuracy.
Some might say it's everything.
It's everything. So it's like, once you get a coach in here who, like, Ben Johnson was a quarterback. He played at UNC. Like, once you get a competent coach in here, I think the sky is the limit for Caleb Williams. I think everyone has known the sky's been the limit for Caleb Williams, but everyone likes to overreact. And the reality is, Caleb Williams played a very good game today. And for all the people that want to talk about him in his sacks, the last 2 games, he's only taken 4 sacks.
Well, no, again, look, and it's just more like there isn't like, again, I know it's trendy stuff, like I said, Hunter, it was like my rant, it's just because it's trendy. Like back when Josh Allen was having bad games because he was young, it was very trendy. Josh Allen sucked. When Jalen Hurts was still a rookie and he was young, Jalen Hurts' first QB, Jalen Hurts sucks. Like it's a very common trend, and now you're never going to see the same people. Well, you'll still see some, but you're not going to see the majority consensus, right? Oh, they're trash. So it's just when it's convenient for everybody to fit in, right? Caleb will be trash, and then slowly but surely, the same people that are calling him trash now will be like, "OMG, Caleb." It's just right. It's like the infinite cycle of the NFL. So again, we never let it bother us. We always kept it real. It was to be expected. I never was out on Caleb. I never will be out on Caleb. It literally the Bears. There is no. Like the only thing that make Caleb look bad is if the Bears keep losing games and don't build the right roster. But Caleb is always going to be Caleb.
Yeah.
Again, back to it's up to the Bears to make him put the pen to the paper. But Caleb is always going to keep improving and keep being himself. So I mean, yeah. Look, but back to what we were talking about before, because that's kind of where I'm actually much more concerned at this point. Because as Caleb gets better, like, yes, the O-line is still number one thing that needs to be addressed this offseason, more for his health than anything. But he will keep getting better. He'll keep getting more in rhythm with.
Once he has that trust in his line, he'll definitely be able to like think the game slower. Like, I'm sure he's always worried about his blind side.
Well, no, of course. It's all inherent stuff. But honestly, Hunter, at this point, I am really, and it's fair to say, I think, but you also could say then on the other hand, like, well, when they have a whole off season with another coordinator and then they get to and honestly, we don't even know if the Bears will still be the same scheme next year. They could totally switch to a 3-4. Things could look very different next year. And I think that might even be good for like Tremaine Edmonds. There's still a lot of things on the table, but like, we're in a kind of a funky situation now where like the Bears really do need to overhaul a majority of the defense, and that does scare me a lot. Like that is the biggest thing, is because like I'm saying, and so I stop rambling, tied together. Like Caleb's going to keep getting better.
Yeah.
The offense is going to still improve regardless. But if the defense keeps allowing this many points a game, this many yards a game, and this much time for the opposing offense to have the ball, that's the whole point. Is it puts Caleb to have to be in superhero mode every game, and that just. There is going to inherently be games where he looks bad and everything looks bad and the sky does seem like it's falling, right? So that's the biggest thing, is it's like, because like we said, Hunter, they're going to have to spend a majority of that not salary cap, but that draft capital on the O-line, and a fair amount of the salary cap very likely on it in, free agency.
They should.
So it kind of, exactly. So it kind of leaves us like, where do we start as far as reforming the defense?